Good afternoon, everyone. Today I want to explain or give introduction about learning English with online games. So first, what is games? Games is a structure of play that used for enjoyment or learning tools. So that we want to learn today is using games for learning tools for the English. So as usually people in nowadays have their smartphone and usually they have games inside of their smartphone. Usually like me or some of people right here use to play PUBG mobile or Mobile Legends. Because there is online games, we can meet through people in online from the other country, and usually they use English for speak up, so we can learn some new words from them in the game.
Games create an interesting and fun learning atmosphere, since games are based on action rather than explanation. And then research into video games as a learning tool have been growing rapidly. In 2006, Yip and Kwan, in their study entitled Online Vocabulary Games as a Tool for Learning and Teaching, said that if the games are fun, relaxing, and motivating, then it will increase the interest of learner. And then, although we know that excitement is important and effective as motivation to the learner, but it is important to make sure that it doesn't negatively influence the learning objective. And then in 2011, Yola Gelbili and Africa, in their study, said that teachers view video games as a crucial part in their English lesson, since they provide English lesson as EFL or English as foreign language. And then in 2012, Reinhardt and Sykes in their study also agreed that video games help EFL learner to more focus on their English language study. Additionally, a study by Chick in 2012 showed that video game player showed three aspects when they play a video game. The first one is in-game text, where there's a story in the games and the learner can learn from it, especially many vocabularies from it. And the second one is interaction with other players that provide opportunities for player to use the English language, especially in talking. And then the third one is in-game discussion. Well, this provides another feature for player to have a chat with other player using English language.
To complete this research paper, we use the data collection methods, including like a questionnaire and some interviews. Now I'm going to talk about the survey results. Sorry. First question is about the age of the respondents itself. Most of the respondents itself, basically they are about 18 until 21 years old. And if they are interested to online games or not, they basically, based on our survey results, most of them is like to playing online games, and just only a little bit that don't like playing online games. Now, what kind of types of games that respondents often to play? Based on the survey results, most of them like playing kind of games like mobile games and first-person shooters for mobile games itself, like Mobile Legends, Arena of Valor, and the newest ones, Marvel Super Wars. And for the first-person shooter itself, they used to play like PUBG or Free Fire or maybe it's the new ones, Call of Duty Mobile. Now, what about the length periods for each respondent is to play? Well, most of the respondents, based off our survey, they used to play games. It's about 1 until 2 hours per day, and the others just play like 3 until 5 hours, and some have playing like less than 1 hours. And what the language used by responding while playing online games? Basically, the default version of the online games should be playing with English language. And based on the survey results, many of the respondents is using the English for the base of the games itself. Okay, what about the increased English skills of the respondent itself? Well, most of the respondents, based on the survey results, they told us is yes, their English skills is increased. But some of them, like it's about 8 respondents, say probably. Okay, well, the new vocabulary learning in a day. Based on the survey, 22 respondents learned about 1 until 5 words per day, and 13 respondents learned about 5 until words per day, and 12 respondents learned more than 10 words per day. Now, what's the opinion about respondents about online games is effective way to learn English? Most of the respondents itself, they tell us, based on the survey, 42 respondents agree about online games were effective way to learn English, and the 4 respondents is disagree. Now, type of games that can improve English skills according to respondents. Well, based on the survey, most of the respondents is told us about the effective way to learn English is with the adventures games, and the others say that they choose to learn English with mobile games, and the other is choosing like action games or puzzle games. Now, the weakness of learning English to online games according to respondents. Based on the results, there are so many answers about these questions. Like first one is the improper grammar. Second one is about the difficulty vocabulary. The others like online games addiction, inappropriate words like using a bad words in games like in Grand Theft Auto, or a waste of time. And what about the strength of learning English with online games according to the respondents? There are also a lot of questions about this. Like for example, it's fun and easy to learning with English and with games. And the second one is communication skills. English is increased. It's very obvious, right? And the other things like learning new vocabularies, like the previously, like I told you before. And the 2 last things about the practical learning and unconscious process. We also have not just the survey, but the interview itself.
Assalamualaikum, good morning everybody. Today I would like to interview one of college student of Brawijaya University, and her name is Mutiara Pramesti Utami.
My name is Evita Ellen. I'm a visual communication design at Multimedia Nusantara University.
My name is Harafi. I'm 21 years old and I'm from Binus Bekasi.
Hi guys, I'm Fahri. I'm 19 years old. I'm from Binus University, Bekasi.
My name is David Thomas. I'm from Binus Bekasi, and I'm business IT.
The first question is, do you like playing online games? Why do you like or dislike playing online games?
Yes, of course. I like to play online games so much. I play a lot of online games, I think. I like it because it can remove my stress. Usually when I came home from my college, I often play online games because I think it can...
Remove stress.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay, why do you like that playing video games?
Because it's fun and it's such a stress relief.
Yeah, I like playing online games.
Why do you like playing online games?
Because games are fun and it can release your stress and it fill your empty space. I mean, like when there is no schedule, you can play these games.
Okay.
Yes, yes, I like it.
Why do you like playing online games?
Because back then all my friend is playing online games, so I get influenced by them.
Yes, of course. Why do you like it? Because it's fun, and if I have my time, I can play online games.
The second question. In your opinion, do online games have more positive or negative impacts? And why?
In my opinion, right? In my opinion, I think there's a lot of positive for me than the negative one, because the positive one is, yeah, like I told in the first question, I said it that when I tired from my college, after I came home, I took a rest, and when I took a rest, sometimes I feel a little bit bored because I don't have anything to do, so I played, and it can remove me from when my mind is full of unimportant thoughts. Yeah, so I played it because it can forget about little things like that. And then the negative, of course there is a negative
Effect?
Yeah. Sometimes I can stop playing online games. I feel too comfort with it, and then I waste a lot of my important time.
Okay.
I think that's it.
It depends on what games, but I think it's mostly positive.
It depends how the person react to the games. Like if you play Mortal Kombat, it depends. Like it depends on the people how they react to the game.
Okay.
It depends on the person itself. Like if the person know the time when he play and put the games in a good way, it can be positive. But if the person is don't know what time to play games and not study, it can be negative.
I think online games have more positive. Why? Because you can find your friends through online, and you could learn some new vocabulary when you talk to your friends.
The third question. In your opinion, is learning English with online games effective? Why?
I think it is very effective because when you play a game, in your menu or options, there's some kind of, even in your gameplay, right? When you play survival or anything else, there are some vocabulary that you don't understand. For example, when you start your game, there is an option you must choose, but you don't understand both of it. So unlikely you must find it in your dictionary, right? And then when you play your games again, the words is the same, but you already knows the meaning, so you will remember it.
Okay.
Yeah, because I have experienced it myself.
Can you give me some examples?
I do take courses and classes like that, but I get a bit of a head start from playing games.
Okay.
It also depends on the person, like what kind of game they play and with who they play the game.
Okay.
It's really effective for me because I learned it by cases. Like for example, there is a game scene, there is some scene, right? and there's a subtitles. For me, it's really effective for me.
Effective. Effective why? Because in some dialogues in online games, they provide complex vocabulary or new vocabulary that you don't find in school.
The fourth question is, in your opinion, what kind of online games that can help the users to improve their English skills?
In my opinion, I think the best way is some kind of survival games because there are a lot of things that you must do by your own, like crafting maybe or making this or that, and you must read also how to make it, how to use it, and other else. The example of survival games that you can play is such as Raft, the Forest. I think it is very good because, again, if you don't understand the meaning, certainly you must find it in your dictionary.
Okay.
Honestly, it's any kind of games that requires you to communicate with English language. It can be like worldwide, multiplayer online.
Oh, some
I don't know,
like ini.
Any types of games.
Oh, I see.
What kind of game? Maybe it's like kind of game that allows you to communicate with your friends or your teammates like that.
Okay.
So you can improve your English.
Everything for me it's everything, but especially like adventure games. For example, like Grand Theft Auto, it really helped me because there is plenty of scene in that game.
Okay.
I think scramble or word games, like RPG or something like that. Yes.
The last question is, do you have experience where you feel that playing online games can improve your English skills?
Yes, I think I have my experience. Lately, when I was a child, I never took an English course. I'm an autodidact, so I study almost everything by myself. So I started to study English by my own, and games help me a lot to learn new vocabulary of English. Yeah, I think it is fun when you have to study some new things, but it is your hobby too.
Okay.
Yes, like I said, I get a bit of a jump start from learning English from online games. So when I did my test in class, I get better result, etc.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. I was playing CS:GO back then with foreigner player, so they helped me improve my English since I can communicate with them and speak with them. So it really affect me so much.
So they can help you to improve your English.
Yes.
Experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of experience, but I barely remember.
Okay.
Well, for example, like if there is video game scene, I usually read the subtitle. Yeah, just same like I watch the movie. Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. What game? What kind of games? Oh. I just play the online games through the visual or illustration, not the language. So actually, I found a new vocabulary, but I don't know the meaning. Yeah. Yes. I think that's all. Thank you. Thank you.
So, learning English through online games have many advantages and disadvantages. So first we're going to talk about the advantages of learning English through online games. So the first advantage is improve the linguistic skills and cognitive development. When combined with the a solid foundation to vocabulary and grammar, online games can can help students to improve their reading skills, comprehension, and also their speaking skills. According to recent national survey, more than 78% of teachers know that learning online games were effective to help struggling students compensate for learning gaps in their traditional studies. And learning games naturally require the integration of several linguistic skills, including reading, writing, listening, and speaking. And by removing the fear of making mistakes, so common in students in their traditional classroom settings, students can free to practice their language and develop the linguistic skills and cognitive abilities in the process. So the second advantage is learning English provide context learning. So students naturally learn faster than when they are forced to learn to use the information often and in the real world. Even the fake one created by English learning games. This is the immersion-based learning or contextual learning. So very similar to what once experienced when living abroad and being forced to interact with people in another language. So by providing both context and constant feedback, the students can use the knowledge they gain in their classroom or conventional study and to learn and master English language. So the third advantage is make studying fun and alleviate stress. So assignments, homeworks, or even tasks can cause a great deal of stress and anxiety to students, especially for those who may be struggling to keep up. So online games can be a great equalizer for students because they can help students to alleviate stress, to increase the social engagement, and also help them having fun while learning English. So the last advantage is motivating the unmotivated. So the main issue of those motivating students because they can find or see why they need to study English. Playing games not only stimulate the real context but also help them to understand that English can because that they can use English to accomplish a various of tasks with English language, and also games can encourage students to participate in many activities since they are naturally want to win, and students will realize that they need to use the language so for people to understand what they are saying or what they are talking about. So if that's the advantages, and now we're going to talk about the disadvantage of online games. So the first is addicting and affect mental health. So games can be addictive when they first started playing the game. And according to the university in England, this determination can cause the low self-esteem or you can say the aggressive behavior, especially if they are playing a game and they always lost, or if they couldn't understand the game at all, can cause the frustration. And also, the overuse of playing online games can cause the social isolation or the poor social skill. The second disadvantage is bad behavior. So while playing online games, especially for students, they always make a group, including group video call or online groups. If one of them cause the loss of the team, the rest of the team will blame the one who makes the mistakes, and the victim became more isolated and feel bad to others. So this is a bad influence. So, and also in online games, the students could learn the bad words and be influenced by the words, especially for the bad words. So that's why that's important to choose the good games for students. So the last is a little time to learn English properly. So playing games is very fun, right? But it's hard to say that learning English through playing games can make the study time used properly, because there is barely time to study appropriate grammar, although you can still learn the many new vocabularies. So that's why many teachers in school prefer to have the general English classroom, then use the games to help them to learn English. And also some students thought that using games to learn English is very mature and
So I would like to explain about the conclusion. We make this conclusion based on the result of the interview. And we have interviewed 5 people, either from Venus University and from Venus University. And we got 4 points. The first point is very effective. Why is very effective? Because if you play a game, you will find a lot of new vocabulary on there. And you must find the meaning to make yourself understand what the games mean. Especially in survival or adventure game. You must read and find the meaning to make you understand about the storyline. The second point is fun way and remove stress. Why? Because games is the funnest way to learn English for some people. Because with games, you won't get bored and it can remove your stress. Such as if you came back to your college or your school and you get a lot of problem, a lot of assignment, a lot of stress, you just find and play the games. It can remove your stress and it can improve your English skills. The third point is improper way to learn grammar. Why? Because if you are in game, it's very rare to find the right grammar and you just find the vocabulary only. The last point is it's not always a good way. Why? Because we know all games are very addictive, and once you play it and you win it, you just want to keep playing it and play again until you get satisfied and you just want to win. So the conclusion is we can learn a lot about English with games, and games have a lot of positive impact and negative impact, of course. It depends on yourself. If you can manage your time between play games and learn English with games, you will get the positive impact. But if you are too addictive with games, you will get the negative impact. So the decision is yours. Thank you.